getting your day started with us right here on 106.1 ESPN, the ESPN Richmond app, and ESPNRichmond.com. And folks, we are back on the stream over on YouTube. Just type in ESPN Richmond in the search bar. We'll pop right on up and you can watch us live. Also live over on Twitter/X, whichever one you prefer, because we've got a big guest coming up in the 9 o'clock hour at 9:30, roughly 9:30, give or take a couple of minutes. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is slated to join us, the driver of the number 47 Chevrolet. He's up in Richmond here today, so he'll swing by the studios, chat with us about the upcoming race at Iowa this weekend, as well as the race on August 16th at Richmond. So excited to talk with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the driver of the number 47 Chevrolet, in hour number 2 at around 9:30. And other than that, we are wide open. Would love to hear from you. 804-327-0888. You can also text that number, and you can also drop a comment on Twitter or YouTube, wherever you're watching, and be part of the conversation that way. Alan, welcome back to the capital of the Commonwealth. I was gone for a while, then you were gone for a day, and now we're back reunited.
Yeah, you were gone for a while. I was gone for
3
a
days.
day. How does that equal up?
3 days. I was gone for 3 days.
Dude,
it was a time down there. Kickoffs, ACC media days in general, I was talking about it yesterday to myself because I was all alone.
Yeah.
They're really just like all encompassing, where I missed out on so much news because I was just running between scrum to press conference to interview to scrum to press conference to interview.
Yeah, and you know, with Senior Bowl, training camp, things like that, it's almost like you're in a bubble too.
Yeah.
You don't hear anything or like, honestly, both of those locations that I've been to, they actually set it up to where the internet basically doesn't work either. I think they're trying to discourage you from.
The internet was horrible at ACC media days.
I think they're trying to discourage people from streaming. I mean, not streaming, from tweeting and sending out information that they shouldn't be. Like yesterday, the Wi-Fi at training camp was really slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
like, darn. And then they were like, oh, it's because there's so many people on it. Yeah, right.
I mean, I think for ACC media days, the reason it was so slow was there were so many people on it. And then there were people streaming. Like in the digital age of radio, it's now also TV. So like everyone's streaming their shows. So you've got all of that happening. You've got all the people in hardwired into the internet too. But it was a fun time. So glad to be back. I do have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you record sports to watch later?
I do not. Okay, I can't stand the idea.
Thank goodness.
I mean, half the time I've already seen the outcome based on the alerts that I get.
Yeah, exactly.
But I will say this though. If there is a player that I'm curious about that I want to like scout, and I'm using air quotes, I will record the TV broadcast to pick up on specific plays for that person. But all 22s is typically efficient enough. College football, you kind of have to do that. It's hard to get like legitimate film.
You're not getting real film on college athletes.
For college. Yeah. So
they keep that under lock and key. They keep that one.
So I would, because Shadur's on the TV, I'll use him as an example. Like I wouldn't rewatch Colorado versus Iowa State to rewatch the game, but I would rewatch Colorado versus Iowa State to see how Shadur did. Like if there's something going on with his tendencies or his mechanics, etc. So I would do it that way.
Shador Sanders notably has not received first team reps yet.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That'd be all right.
Kenny Pickett's out though. Joe Flacco is expected to receive.
I mean, seriously, the competition that he's going up against, if he can't beat those guys, he didn't deserve to be in the league.
You're not wrong.
That's
Joe
where
Flacco,
I'm at on that.
Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel. Yeah. Look, if you were the second best quarterback in that NFL draft, you win that competition.
Yeah. And if it's for some reason they just don't do it, like they just don't let him get first team reps or whatnot, when he's cut or released or if he's on the market, they will let you know if he's good because somebody will come after him. So we'll see.
He did do really well at training camp yesterday. Went 9 for 9 with 2 tutties.
He's better than these guys. It's so obvious.
It's so fun. It's funny how intense we are watching Cleveland Browns quarterback battle training camp.
I've actually scheduled myself to go see the joint practice in the game next week in Carolina.
Really?
So, yeah.
You'll be down there in Charlotte?
I'm not going to do the joint practice, but I will do the game. I thought about it, man. After being outside yesterday and doing Instacart and stuff, I don't know if I can handle it.
It was so hot yesterday.
And I'm not getting paid millions for this.
No, barely getting paid, if we're being honest. Yeah, I think it's so funny when people record sports to watch later, and then they get mad at you when you're telling them how the game went. No, tell me. I recorded. I got to watch it when I get home. What are we doing? What are we doing?
That's ridiculous.
Come on, this is sports. This is sports. You watch it live, and if you can't watch it live, you follow along live on your ESPN app or whatever it may be. You don't record sports. This isn't this isn't American Idol season finale. Like we don't have to rewatch it. All right, let's go out to the phone lines this Tuesday morning. Michael is out there on line one. Good morning, Michael. How are we doing?
Jack, Alan, good morning. I just knowing that Shedeur might not be getting first reps and may not be on the team or whatnot. I think we've talked about this before, the teams that have passed up on it, but one of those teams we talked about a few weeks ago was the Rams, and Stafford is battling a week-to-week injury. I mean, it's wide open to make a trade.
Yeah.
Shedeur in there.
Could see that. I mean, I think the Colts were mentioned around it too. Could see maybe the Colts making a weird splashy thing, but I think Cleveland really likes it. I think Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, is the reason why the Browns drafted Shedeur Sanders, and he is not going to greenlight a trade to anyone. I think he's going to force them to bench him, and then maybe they'll think about it. But yeah, that Matthew Stafford injury is a quiet one, but a very important one, because if he's hurt, that torpedoes their Super Bowl chances, their Super Bowl hopes. But if he's healthy, they are a really fun NFC team to make the Super Bowl.
Right, and not just Super Bowl chance, but if this thing for Stafford lingers on, you got to start looking at the future here. And the Rams are not a bad team to fall into a top position to get another high-ranked quarterback in a draft. So why not get Shedeur for next to nothing? I mean, he was drafted in the 6th round, so I don't doubt you have to give up a lot for him at this point. But maybe you're right. Maybe the Browns are just holding on to him as an ace in the hole, and they just want attention and ticket sales, and maybe that's why they're just going to hold him. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting so much ESPN pub, right? Like we're talking about it. They're tracking how each quarterback is doing. I think the one thing to kind of keep in mind with it all is the fact that the Rams had 6 chances to draft him. So I think until they're 100% sure that Stafford isn't the guy, or he won't be able to be the guy because of this back injury, then they may make the move. But even then, like they had the chances in the NFL draft to go out and get Sanders, and they still said time and time again, we prefer Jimmy Garoppolo. I think that's the one kind of interesting part to getting a trade for Shedeur there. One, the precedent isn't fully there to trade a draft pick before they've even played in an NFL game. And secondly, he is a 6th-round draft pick, which means every single team in the NFL had multiple opportunities to go out and get him. They chose not to. I doubt then they will give up future draft capital to go out and get him. But the Rams would make a lot of sense if this Matthew Stafford injury is something that will actually limit him come the start of the regular season. Michael, thank you so much for calling in. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Whoa, Tuesday. There goes Michael. I'm on Monday vibes for some. Ivan, give us a call back. Thank you so much for calling in, but I think the phone line did drop. We have little gremlins in the phone lines. Our phone lines have been a little wonky too. So if you do call in,
it's the heat.
It's the heat is impacting everything. The heat literally is impacting everything. But if you call in, just as a kind of overall warning, is the warning the right word, or just message out there? If you call into any of the shows, we'll put you on hold. You'll talk to Alan. You'll talk to whoever the producer is. We'll put you on hold. You used to be able to then hear the station, so you could hear us talking. Now that's not the case. If you get put on hold, it goes to silence. And that is much different than what it used to be. So if we put you on hold and then it goes silent, that's not us hanging up on you. That's the phone line being weird. So just stay with us. We'll eventually call you. Like right now, Ivan is on line 1. So we'll go out to line 1. Ivan, good morning. How are we doing on this Tuesday?
Fine, Jack. How you doing, buddy?
Great. Thanks.
Well, I want to talk about Bryce Harper. I read where he cussed out the commissioner of baseball.
He did indeed.
Because he said there's no way that the players would ever accept a salary cap. Well, He said, we're willing to give a 162 game schedule to prove our point. Well, that may be nice and on paper, but he doesn't speak for every player. And the commissioner in baseball is right to want a salary cap, because you can't keep having a lot of teams just be like vacuum cleaners and suck up all the best players.
Ivan, I think the solution here, because it's going to be really tough to put a salary cap in place, because what a salary cap does is it limits the amount of money players can make. We would never see another Juan Soto making $750 million. And players don't want to be capped on what they can earn, especially when they're playing the 162 games and they're doing all of that. So I understand the player side of it. And from the owner's side of it, just don't let that happen. If you're a small market team, you are still getting so much money in this revenue split from the media rights deals and everything that's going on, where you are still in the positive. Spend more money. In my opinion, if you're an owner of a baseball team, if you're owner of a sports team in general, you have a right, you have an obligation to your fandom to try and field the best team possible. And that's not what a lot of these teams are doing. That's not what the Pirates are doing. That's not what the White Sox are doing. That's not what the Athletics are doing. So instead of capping it at the top with what players can make in the future, we should instead add a floor. There should be no reason that a team's overall payroll is less than $100 million. You should be, you got 40 guys on a roster, give or take a couple of guys. Like, you should be able to put together a roster that's competitive with over $100 million in total salary. And that's where my thing is. And even now in today's MLB, you do kind of have a de facto salary cap with their, what they call competitive, competitive balance act, or competitive balance tax is what they call it. And it's essentially the same as the luxury tax in the NBA, where if you spend more than X amount of money per year and you're over that apron for multiple years, you start getting your draft pick hit. You start getting paid like 90% of every dollar over the tax that you're spending. You then have to pay back as a tax. Like, they have ways to punish, quote unquote, punish big spending teams like the Yankees and the Mets. But those teams are okay with spending that because they want to put together a winning team. Whereas, the small market teams out there just want to make a quick buck instead of actually putting a competitive team out there. And I think that's the issue. It's not whether or not there should be a salary cap or not. I think there should be a salary floor, and we should not put a salary cap into the MLB, because that then limits the amount of earning potential that these players have, something that they've always had for the entirety of the history of MLB. You can't put that into place now.
Yes. And one other thing, now that the football camps are open for the pros, it's going to be interesting to see if Cleveland will really keep 4 quarterbacks this season, because it's kind of unique to hear that about the Cleveland Browns might do something intelligent to go out there and keep 4 quarterbacks. I don't think they will, but it's interesting to hear that rumor.
Yeah, I think what will happen is they'll either cut Kenny Pickett or Joe Flacco, and they'll carry 3 quarterbacks into the year with Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, and then likely Joe Flacco. Kenny Pickett hurt right now. He's missing out on valuable reps. I believe they'll carry 3 quarterbacks into the season. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting with the camps opening and the first game this Thursday night.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun to see the season unofficially start with that Hall of Fame game. Ivan, thank you so much for calling in. Have a wonderful Tuesday.
You do the same, buddy.
There goes Ivan. I think we'll talk about it in news or snooze. Salary cap being potentially introduced is going to cause, if the owners are dead set on bringing a salary cap into MLB, it is going to cause a work stoppage. Like, the players will not accept that. That is going to be a huge sticking point. And if owners are so dead set on that, players are going to be so dead set against it. It's going to make this new CBA negotiation quite interesting. The current CBA runs through December 1st, 2026. And then they're going to have to figure out something new. So lots of stuff hanging up in the air. If a salary cap is something MLB owners want to implement, because it's just not going to go through. Players will not accept that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm for it or against it. I mean, there's still a lot of incidents where you can look at it and say, even though the team spent $1 gazillion, they didn't win it all,
Yeah,
right? And baseball is such a long season, just stacking a roster doesn't work, right? If it was maybe a 16-game season like football or something like that, it might work. I mean, even stacking rosters in basketball in the NBA just doesn't seem to work
as much as it used to. You want to have a team. It's such a long season that even if you have a prima donna out there and they're taking shots away or they're playing poorly out in the field, whatever it may be for NBA or MLB, that's eventually going to kind of take away the team aspect of it. Like the Pacers were so successful, not because they had Kevin Durant or LeBron James, because they were a team. OKC was so successful because they felt like a cohesive team. And I think that's where things are going. And at the same time, MLB does have a salary cap, a quote unquote salary cap with their competitive balance tax.
And they have awesome revenue sharing, which has helped a lot of people too. The issue isn't
poor. It's owners crying poor who are a bunch of cheapskates who needs to get their money together and actually field a competitive team instead of crying about the Mets spending money.
That and stop letting teams like the Dodgers defer
now
$700 million.
Yeah, now deferred money is something we can all have a discussion with CBA. It is 100%. It is absolutely insane that Shohei Ohtani will be making millions of dollars for the next 700 years. Like that is insane. We need to have a conversation on deferred money because that's something that shouldn't exist. I shouldn't be able to sign a guy for $1 billion and I'm deferring $999 million into the future. Like that's not $1 billion deal. Exactly. That's where the issue lies.
Seriously.
But there is a competitive balance tax where if you spend over for 2025, it was if you spend over $241 million on payroll, that's over the threshold. Then you have a first surcharge, a second surcharge, and a third surcharge. If you go over that tax threshold for multiple years, your first draft pick is then docked 10 spots. So if you've been over that tax threshold for 2 seasons and the next draft you're drafting 21st, it's going to drop to 31st. And you also are getting taxed on the money that you are going over the threshold. If it's multiple seasons over the threshold, you're essentially being taxed 90% of every dollar. So you're paying 90 cents on every single dollar over the luxury tax. I mean, it is a pretty big penalty. And the Mets are going right up against it. And they're going to be the first team, I believe, to actually take a brunt of a lot of it. But the Mets have already spent a lot of money on this competitive balance tax. In 2024, they spent $97 million because of going over the quote-unquote luxury tax. In 2023, they spent $100 million on it. Steve Cohen has just been throwing money at the New York Metropolitans. All right, let's get you updated with what you may have missed in the wide world of sports here at 8:18 a.m. on a Tuesday.
This is your Fitz The Bill morning update. Getting you caught up on some of the biggest stories in sports.
All right, some sad news came through overnight. Chicago Cubs legend and Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg died Monday at age 65. He was a Hall of Fame second baseman who became one of baseball's best all-around players while playing for the Cubs during his career. In the MLB last night, the Nationals downed the Astros in Houston 2-1. Orioles got an 11-4 win over the Blue Jays in Baltimore. Rays beat the Yankees 4-2 in the Bronx. Braves, they get a much-needed 10-7 win over the Royals out in KC. The Twins, who are kind of becoming sellers here at the trade deadline, did beat the Red Sox 5-4 after an extended 90-minute rain delay. White Sox beat the Phillies 6-2, and the Mets fell 7-6 to the Padres after San Diego got the walk-off winner in the bottom of the ninth. In the NFL, Cortland Sutton, the Broncos wide receiver, signed an extension yesterday. The 29-year-old will turn 30 in the season, inked a 4-year extension for $92 million, makes his salary for 2025 fully guaranteed, which is $14 million, and it will also include $27 million guaranteed over the 4 years over the course of the extension. It comes in at roughly $23 million per year in average annual value. That is worth noting as Terry McLaurin is in the midst of his discussions with the Washington Commanders. Christian Wilkins was released by the Raiders last week. Reports have been coming out from Adam Schefter that he did some interesting things in the locker room, including kissing a teammate on the head and tickling other players' feet. Also was treating rehab for a foot injury poorly, and teammates were becoming frustrated with the star defensive tackle, leading to his release. Also, I missed this over the weekend. Bengals, we need a round of applause for this. The Bengals signed their first-round pick, Shamar Stewart. Congratulations to them. Void language that was being fought over was ultimately included. However, the Bengals increased the rookie's pay structure to compensate for that void language. And announced in a press conference along his team of doctors, Deion Sanders announced he is cancer-free and is ready to coach Colorado in 2025. All right, that's what you may have missed in the wide world of sports. Gotta love Deion Sanders announcing he has cancer and that he has also beat cancer in one press conference and saying he's ready to coach in 2025. Right? That news set Twitter ablaze for about 24 hours from when they announced they were having that press conference yesterday to actually having it. The amount of aggregator Twitter accounts that were just reporting fake news, like literally fake news, saying that Deion Sanders is going to retire. Deion Sanders is doing this. Deion Sanders is doing that. And then it just turned out that he was announcing that he's cancer-free and he's ready to coach Colorado in 2025. Never trust those aggregator accounts. Never trust them because they're just looking for the clicks. All right, we're going to get a quick break in here, step aside, be back, talk a little bit more about that Courtland Sutton contract and how it will impact Terry McLaurin as he looks to get, he wants something a lot more than what Courtland Sutton got. We'll talk about how Sutton's contract impacts Terry on the other side.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Linux dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
Horse racing is back, and it's time to get ready for another Triple Crown season. Get the latest from the industry every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 with Off to the Races on 106.1 ESPN. Presented by The Racing Biz. Nick Hahn and Frank Vespi bring you their insight and knowledge, talking with the people making the headlines, including jockeys, trainers, and owners. Plus, get the expert picks each week, including a visit by Derby Bill Watson. It's Off to the Races each Saturday morning at 10 on 106.1 ESPN. Streaming live on the iHeartRadio app.
At Target, back-to-school-a-days are here. What is back-to-school-a-days, you ask? We're talking 7 days of deals on looks and styles the kids will love, at prices you'll love even more. Because back-to-school at Target means getting all of the above. Through August 2nd, save 25% on select kids' clothes, with additional savings to round out their looks, including uniforms, leggings, polos, and activewear. Plus, their new favorite backpacks are 30% off. Happy back-to-school-a-days now through August 2nd, only at Target. Terms and conditions apply.
I thought I'd book a trip to Italy to celebrate retiring.
We didn't speak Italian.
We didn't then. We do now. Because of Babbel.
Babbel is the refreshingly easy-to-use app for learning a new language. Babbel uses immersive lessons to teach you vocabulary and grammar in a way that sticks. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Could Caleb Williams simultaneously, after 10 to 15 years in this league, be the second best quarterback from his draft class and be Hall of Fame worthy?
Sure. He has that kind of ability. I picked the Chicago Bears to be a playoff team this year. So if I'm doing that, that means I'm bullish on what Caleb can do in year two. And I believe that Ben Johnson can get the best out of it.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. September 2nd to ESPN Radio, The Rich Eisen Show.
The U.S. Ryder Cup captain Keegan Bradley. Good to see you, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good, boy.
Derrick Henry of the Baltimore Ravens. What's up, Derrick? How are you?
Hey, what's up?
The Rich Eisen Show.
Super Bowl champion Lane Johnson. Good to see you, Lane. How are you, sir?
Doing well.
Head coach of the Washington Commanders, Dan Quinn.
Rich, man, it's good to be back on the show.
Rich Eisen.
106.1 ESPN traffic.
Expect slow-moving traffic heading west on 64 between Mechanicsville Turnpike and 95 Interchange. Heading south on 95, you can expect some delays between Bryan Burke Interchange and Lombardi Street Overpass, as well as between Chamberlain Avenue and Hermitage Road. And taking a look at 95 northbound, we're also seeing some backup between Bells Road and Maury Street.
This has been Ingram with the Atlanta Braves. Keep it locked here on 106.1 ESPN. Your home for the Atlanta Braves all season long.
Can't touch this.
Cortland Sutton can't touch what Terry McLaurin's trying to get. I mean, okay, so Cortland Sutton signed his contract, right? Welcome back in, Fitz the Bill. Cortland Sutton signed a contract yesterday, an extension, 4 years, $92 million. Whoa, those numbers are so cool. Awesome. $23 million per year in average annual value. That's not so cool. $23 million per year is going to heavily impact Terry McLaurin discussions. Of that $92 million, it secures this year's salary in 2025 with $14 million guaranteed, and then $27 million guaranteed will be distributed over the course of the 4 years of his extension, keeping him in Denver until 2029. The Denver Broncos locking up their wide receiver one for their rookie quarterback, or I guess now sophomore quarterback, as they head into the season, something the Commanders are struggling to do as we speak. And Lake Lewis will join us tomorrow to chat about, he'll be joining us in studio to chat about the Terry McLaurin discussions, the contract negotiations, and how things are going up in training camp up in Ashburn, Virginia. But this contract, $23 million per year in average annual value, is shockingly low for a wide receiver that is a wide receiver one for his team. That is, I would argue, a top half wide receiver in the NFL. Just kind of the way things go, it feels like he should have gotten a little bit more. But if he's happy in Denver and he's happy with his quarterback, willing to take that hometown discount. But now Terry McLaurin, who's been asking for $34, $35 million, anywhere between 32 and 36 is what's been floated out there. For Terry, who's been asking that as a 29-year-old receiver who will be turning 30 in this upcoming season, this hurts him a little bit, because his comp in the market in Cortland Sutton has now received $10 million per year less than what Terry was looking for. Now, Cortland Sutton does get an additional year of guaranteed money with a 4-year extension. I think the reports are saying Terry might be looking for somewhere in a 3-year extension, so that may help. But it's that top line number, $92 million over 4 years, $23 million per year. The Commanders are going to be pushing that in his face. They're going to be using that as leverage for themselves in this negotiation, as Alan shakes his head, because this whole Terry McLaurin situation has taken turn after turn after turn.
I mean, given everything I heard yesterday about Terry, my opinion has changed on him a little bit, but that's disrespectful. Terry's not Cortland Sutton at all.
He's not.
Even statistically speaking, he came in a year after Cortland and he's got like a season's worth better of stats. So with arguably worse quarterback play in his career since he's been there, I think if you're Terry, you have to at least command some form of respect and be like, all right, I'm not Cortland, but I'm also not Jetta, which I don't think he thinks he is. And I'm not Jamar Chase. It still needs to, for me personally, it still needs to be somewhere between that 30 to 33 million per year range. Again, how you get there, I don't know. I don't expect he would get 4 years. But I just can't see him or the Commanders coming to him and being like, well, Sutton took it for 23 million. I mean, what are we doing? Well, and him not demanding a trade. Like,
they're using the comps, man. They're using the comps to try and figure this thing out. And so that is why, that's why Jamar Chase got 40.25 per year, because that was ever so slightly more than what Myles Garrett got at $40 million. Yeah. So they're using the comps for the player's perspective. They're using it to help them. And teams are using it against players as well. I forgot that Terry McLaurin has already turned 30. So he's 30 years old.
Yeah.
6 months older than Cortland Sutton. I'm not agreeing with this. I too believe Terry is worth in the realm of $32 to $36 million. He has said he wants to be a top 3, top 4 highest paid receiver, which would put him at $33 million per year, just above DK Metcalf, who makes $39.999 per year. And now the Commanders have some bullets in their well, I don't even know what the right analogy is.
I don't know what you're
with like they got some what's the analogy?
I mean, the leverage and
they've got some,
the leverage is with the Commanders for sure. I don't think there's a market for Terry.
Tools in their tool belt. Sorry, I'm trying to think of the analogy.
Some batterings in their tool belt. How about that?
Sure.
But I don't think there's a market for Terry, and I'm not saying that like to be mean, but I'm Just think about how the NFL works, or any professional sport, honestly, especially the NFL. When a star player is unhappy, we get leaks of all kind of smear campaigns, right? And typically there'll be leaks to bring down the value of the player, so the team can get a friendlier deal or keep the player. Or sometimes people or the player himself will have folks in his camp leak things out to make it more appealing. Like it's
Look
really
what happened with DK earlier. Like DK literally was in the same boat where stuff started leaking from his camp that he wants to play for a competitor. He wants to play for a Super Bowl champion, like all of this stuff, and starts leaking it to kind of drive that wedge further between him and the Seahawks.
Yeah, there hasn't been anything really said other than Terry himself saying some tongue-in-cheek things, but for the most part, it just seems like they're both parties are still content on trying to make this work. But Terry's digging his heels in, which, I mean, if I was the player, I can understand, but I'm not Terry McLaurin, and so I don't understand.
Yeah. When you're talking about $23 million or $34 million as a person on this side of the mic, I'm like, yes, both of those sound great to me. I understand. I'm not going to dive into Terry McLaurin's wallet. I'm not going to question it. Go get as much money as you possibly can. But for me, that sounds like both of those sound like great options.
23 million is disrespectful to him.
I think we will not see any movement now until the next threat of fines hang over his head. Because now that he has held in, there are no more fines. So he was getting fined, what, $50,000 a day.
You know what's crazy? I don't think the Commanders wanted to fine him. I think they wanted him to start with the hold-in. I think that was his agent.
The agent wanted him to hold out.
Which is ridiculous.
Because here's me, armchair psychology here. I think the decision, whether it was from Terry or for his agent, was to hold out for the first couple of days, show them we mean business. We want to get this done. We mean business. We're willing to take fines to get this done. Then, after a couple of days of that, and also getting hit with a lot of fines, nearly $1 million worth of fines between mini camps, workout bonuses, and training camp fines, he then decides to show up. And what does he do when he shows up? Everyone's cheering for him. Terry, Terry, Terry. And what does he do? He signs autographs like for 30 minutes, an hour. He's just signing anyone who asks autograph. And then he holds a little quick impromptu media session, which is like a minute with some of the scrum off to the side of the training field. And he gets his stuff out there, and now he's turned it into a hold in. So he then gets more positive sentiment from the fan base. He's now no longer getting fined, and he is shifting the narrative towards positivity towards Terry McLaurin rather than what it could have become by holding out of negativity. So I think he's really controlling the narrative, whether it's him or the agent. And maybe I'm diving way too deep into the psychology of it all, but I think the fact that the Commanders have not said anything negative about him and everything that they have said in the press is positive and rave reviews about Terry shows me that they both want this deal to get done sooner rather than later. But Terry's agent, and I'm going to say it's his agent, is holding things up and wants more money out of him.
Terry and his agent, because the agent's not going to move without Terry's approval.
Unless you're Freddie Freeman's agent.
Yeah, unless you're Freddie Freeman's agent. Terry's agent is the same agent as Jeremy Chin, and that left a pretty bitter taste in every Commanders fan's mouth. So I just wanted to put that out there. Lake will talk about that tomorrow as well, I'm sure. But man, it's the more you dive into it, especially on the sideline portion of it, the more confusing it gets, and you just don't know who to believe other than taking people for their actions. And by their actions, the Commanders are not really out to stick it to Terry McLaurin. They could be so much more difficult about this.
They could be.
And it seems like they're giving him space and trying to figure out something that works for both of them. But I will say also, there's always this talk of what a player's owed, what he's given to the franchise and things like that. When you're talking business, man, I have to be honest. If I'm Josh Harris, Adam Peters, and the business side of the Commanders, I'm only giving you what you deserve. I'm not giving you anything else. Like, we're just not in a position to just throw money to somebody, especially on the back end of your career.
Yeah.
Like, because unfortunately at 31, we start to see decline in a lot of receivers.
At 30, we see decline.
Yeah. So it's not like you're in your first contract. That's a little different. There's some wiggle room. And then two, the Jaden Daniels factor, man. I had this argument with my friend last night. Jaden is a playmaker. Like, he's not a typical quarterback. When you have playmaking quarterbacks that can move the chains by themselves if they need to, that can make guys around them look better than what they really are, it does give you some pause to overpay anybody. Like, anybody but that position.
Because Jalen Lane has been looking phenomenal in camp, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder how much of it the Commanders are like, man, Jaden Daniels is making Jalen Lane look really good. How much do we need Terry?
And we saw them saw him make people look good last year.
Noah Brown looked like a good wide receiver.
And it's not saying that they don't need Terry. It's just the business side. Like, you're not incentivized to just whatever you say, man, here you go. 33, 34, 4 years, whatever you want.
It's not Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson was making Sam Darnold look like an all-pro quarterback.
Yeah.
And that was because of Justin Jefferson. So here's a blank check, Jettas. You fill in what you want to get paid. Jamar Chase, too. He makes Joe Burrow better. Joe Burrow's already a great quarterback, but he's not a playmaking quarterback. So Jamar Chase helps enhance Joe Burrow. I don't know if Terry McLaurin is helping enhance Jaden Daniels. I think it is a necessary thing to get done. You want your veteran wide receiver in that room. You want a fan favorite. You want what seems like a good presence in a locker room. But at the same time, if he's demanding $38 million and you only want to give him $30 million, things are going to get interesting here as we lead up to preseason and lead up to the start of the regular season.
And I say all that to say that it's not disrespecting Terry, but like, from a business side, and you're talking about, penny pinching or getting the most out of whatever contract you give him, you have to pause and ask yourself what his value is to this team, and if that balances out, right? Like, because you don't want to overpay anybody right now.
And there's also something to be said where they are quite old. This is one of the oldest teams in the NFL. And you are going to have some pretty big holes on your defense likely next year that you're going to have to fill probably through free agency. I don't know how much Bobby Wagner's got left. I don't know how much a couple of those got.
Wagner looked kind of spring in his step yesterday.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, in our minds, we're like, look at all the cap space they have. It's like, yeah, but they're going to have to fill probably 20 roster spots. And that's going to go away in an instant. So would you rather solidify the defense, or would you rather go out and re-sign Terry? Like, it is a very fascinating business decision that the Washington Commanders have found themselves in with Terry, especially with all of this new information that's been coming out over the last week, and especially with Cortland Sutton signing this at $23 million.
So I got a question for you. And again, I know this comes off disrespectful. I'm not this. I love Terry McLaurin.
Yes,
this pains me to do this.
Let me say this disclaimer real quick. Both Alan and I want to see the Commanders get an extension done with Terry McLaurin.
I argue with guys that within my first 2 weeks on the station, I was arguing with guys about Terry McLaurin being a good receiver. So I don't mean this to be disrespectful, but it's an honest question from a business standpoint. Terry McLaurin had 1,096 yards last year and 13 touchdowns. Your quarterback is Jaden Daniels. How long does it take you as a GM to replace somebody with that kind of production with a quarterback like Jaden Daniels?
A season.
Exactly. So and that's probably a lot of people's feeling, right? Like, you can replace that production pretty quickly.
And look at all the rookie wide receivers that have been coming out of college the last 5 years. I mean, you got Jamar Chase, you have CeeDee Lamb, you have Justin Jefferson,
so that's
you have Garrett Wilson, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, you have Jalen Waddle's pretty good. You got Devontae Smith, who's come out recently. You just there's such a long list of good guys who have come out in the last 5 years from the wide receiver position.
And I'm concerned that that's truly what it's going to boil down to for the Commanders, is that they have all the leverage.
They have all the leverage.
And the grace that people want Terry to be given in the form of money is actually been given to him in the form of patience. And I know that sounds crazy to say, but that's my stance on it, especially listening to how people were talking yesterday, seeing how everything's moving. Like, I feel like the Commanders are doing their due diligence by being patient with him and not making this a hot mess. Because again, if Terry's on the market, somebody obviously would pick him up, but there's not a lot of contenders that would trade for Terry McLaurin.
Especially at this point in the offseason.
Yeah.
Like, Steelers traded for DK Metcalf.
And they're not contenders. You're looking at the Bills and Chiefs, basically.
Yeah, and maybe they'll do it, but they're gonna give you pennies on the dollar for that's just the way they've been doing business the last couple of years. They'll give you pennies on the dollar. You don't want to do that. And now Terry's and I think Terry understands that, and that's why a reason why he hasn't demanded a trade.
And just suit up by week 1, man. Just get I don't care how you get it done. Just suit up by week 1. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this go the way that I'm envisioning it in my head. Where
I think if it gets to week 1, he doesn't have a new contract. I think he suits up and he plays regardless. I think he plays on the final year of his extension.
I will tell you, if I was him, I would get on that field as soon as possible because this offense is going to look a little different. And when people see that they've got guys that get yards after the catch consistently now across the board, not just Debo, but other guys on this team that can move that ball and be explosive, he's gonna get left behind. And I don't want to see that happen.
Yeah. A lot hanging in the balance for Terry. And again, I want to see Terry get signed. I want to see him finish out his career with Washington. But there is a huge business aspect to this. There is the business side of sports that is fascinating to see how it plays out. All the leverage is with the Commanders as Terry is trying to, get his crowbar in there any little bit he can to get any sort of leverage. But so far, the holdout didn't work. He's seeing if maybe the hold-in works. If that doesn't work, maybe he starts practicing. There's not a lot of options left for Terry McLaurin to
Come
exercise.
home, Terry.
Just get your deal done. Maybe it's $30 million. Maybe it's $29 million. Just get the 3 in front of your name. But
we didn't mean it. We were just joking. Come home. Come back.
He would be a very nice security blanket for old
sure.
Shane Daniels in year 2. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll step aside, be back with more Fitz the Bill this Tuesday morning.
At Target, back-to-school-a-days are here. What is back-to-school-a-days, you ask? We're talking 7 days of deals on looks and styles the kids will love, at prices you'll love even more. Because back-to-school at Target means getting all of the above. Through August 2nd, save 25% on select kids' clothes, with additional savings to round out their looks, including uniforms, leggings, polos, and activewear. Plus, their new favorite backpacks are 30% off. Happy back-to-school-a-days now through August 2nd, only at Target. Terms and conditions apply.
I thought I'd book a trip to Italy to celebrate retiring.
We didn't speak Italian.
We didn't then. We do now. Because of Babbel.
Babbel is the refreshingly easy-to-use app for learning a new language. Babbel uses immersive lessons to teach you vocabulary and grammar in a way that sticks. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
It's summertime here in the RVA, and soccer season is in full swing. Make your plans now for the Richmond Kickers' next home game, Saturday, August 2nd versus FC Naples. It's National Ice Cream Day at City Stadium, presented by Nightingale's famous ice cream sandwiches. Gates open at 6 p.m. for a 7 p.m. start, so make sure to stop by early for happy hour beverage specials and sample RVA's best variety of food trucks. Reserve your tickets today at richmondkickers.com. And don't forget, at Kickers games, dogs are always welcome.
When you first saw her, she was out walking her dog. You didn't notice her at first, but when you finally did, it was too late. Because at that moment, you were speeding. She was out walking her dog and only had a second to let go of the leash. Your foot was on the gas, and her life was on the line. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Big year. I'm starting middle school.
Welcome to the jungle, Missy.
Best part? My parents promised me a new laptop.
Perfect for homework, essays, and drudgery.
So we went to Staples. They had all the latest tech, and laptops were up to 40% off.
Woo! Another back-to-school budget saved by Staples Easy Button.
Mom high-fived the cashier. So embarrassing.
Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In 23 select models only.
Have you failed the DMV written test 3 times? DTW Driving School can help you, and it's easy. For $99, you can take the DTW Driving School DMV approved course online, and you can even save $10 by using the DTW Driving School online coupon. What's even better is you can take the course at your convenience. Get details at DTWDrivingSchool.org. That's DTWDrivingSchool.org. Register today, and DTW Driving School will get you back on track. Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
At Target, back-to-school-a-days are here. What is back-to-school-a-days, you ask? We're talking 7 days of deals on looks and styles the kids will love, at prices you'll love even more. Because back to school at Target means getting all of the above. Through August 2nd, save 25% on select kids' clothes, with additional savings to round out their looks, including uniforms, leggings, polos, and activewear. Plus, their new favorite backpacks are 30% off. Happy back-to-school-a-days now through August 2nd, only at Target. Terms and conditions apply.
I thought I'd book a trip to Italy to celebrate retiring.
We didn't speak Italian.
We didn't then. We do now. Because of Babbel.
Babbel is the refreshingly easy-to-use app for learning a new language. Babbel uses immersive lessons to teach you vocabulary and grammar in a way that sticks. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
1061 ESPN weather.
Taking a look at today's weather forecast, it's currently 79 degrees and sunny, but feels like 86 degrees with the sun and humidity. Our low today is 75 with a high of 93. We're seeing clear skies throughout the morning with cloudy conditions rolling in around 2 p.m. and overcast skies throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening. And taking a look at tomorrow, similar weather with sunny skies, a high of 92 and a low of 75.
Looking to grow your local business? Let's team up. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, host of Fitz The Bill on ESPN Richmond. Together, we can craft on-air campaigns that drive customers right through your doors. Ready to collaborate? Email me, jack.fitzpatrick@summitmediacorp.com. Back in here, Fitz The Bill rolling right along on this Tuesday, July 29th morning. Coming up at 9:30 a.m., we'll be joined by Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the driver of the number 47 Chevrolet. He'll be coming by in studio, chat a little bit about the upcoming Iowa race, as well as what he expects out of Richmond on August 16th. We're going to head out to the phone lines. Bruce is out there on line one. Good morning, Bruce. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Fitz. Good morning, Alan. Catching up with you guys. Not going to talk about T-Max deal because I heard Alan's comments yesterday, but I wanted to say something, guys, and I'm going to turn back the clock a little. Ryan Steinberg with the Cubs was there is a group of second basemen and shortstops that in my life of loving baseball sort of changed the game. And one of those was Rhino when he played with the Cubs in the 80s. I don't know if we know how great. The first love of a second baseman I had was Joe Morgan for the Cincinnati Reds, growing up as a big Reds fan. But it continued in watching Rhino play. And of course, we know about the great second or shortstops that have played. You know, we talk about Ripken and some of these guys, but Ozzie was one of the first great shortstops I watched play in St. Louis. But I think Ryan I think he has a game actually named after him at Wrigley Field. And I don't know if you guys have even caught that, but there is actually a game where I think he hit 3 home runs or something, and they named the game after him. So he was that special. So hopefully, you know, we're going to hear more on the national, but growing up, he was that good. And I want to talk just real quickly about Deion Sanders, because I have just heard that they had to replace his bladder. And it's a medical miracle how they did that. But when we say, you know, God is good, this is the epithet of what we mean by saying those type of comments. When you've dealt with a health issue or family crisis and you've persevered through that, it leaves you with the thought of how. And this is what we mean when we say God is good. So, you know, to anyone that's dealing with health issues, especially men, you know, we got to do our due diligence, but what a blessing for this to be caught and for the medical professionals to know how to treat this, because the recreation of a bladder, from what I understand they've done for him, is an amazing feat. Thank you both.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you so much for calling in. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Yeah, with Deion Sanders, dude can't catch a break either. I mean, he's had the foot stuff, now bladder removal and all of this. I mean, he has had some.
The foot stuff is kind of like a running gag at this point, though.
Yeah. No, but like still,
but yeah, the cancer was very serious.
Cancer, very serious. Got that covered, and then now he'll coach the season. Like that. That's impressive. The dude just had his bladder removed, and he was at Big 12 media days doing all of that. He said he lost 25 pounds, which look, I'll take losing 25 pounds. If you can assure me I'll be healthy afterwards, I'll take it.
Yeah, man.
Quick 25-pound loss. Who needs diet when you can
you probably never saw Ryan Sandberg play.
Ryan Sandberg's last year playing was 1997.
Yeah, you never saw him.
So I was born his first season.
Now,
he was fantastic. Like looking at his stats, looking over his impact and what people were saying about him, like his impact on the Cubs is quite insane.
Well, just because Bruce brought it up, as a baseball fan and former player, second base isn't the shiny position, right? Like your shortstop is the guy. Like your shortstop is the dude that's going to get all the chicks after the game, right? Your shortstop's the one that gets all the attention, like quarterback, right? But a solid second baseman is probably the sports equivalent of like having a premier like center in football, right? Like no matter how good your quarterback is, you got to have a good center.
Yeah.
And the second baseman is a blanket for your shortstop. And a lot of times they complement one another, but it's just not a lot of glory in it. But Sandberg was, again, off the field, he was one of the best by all reports. But on the field, like he was just so good and just so solid. He just wasn't a whole lot of flash. And I think that might be historically why people don't talk about him. But when you talk about great second basemen, obviously his name should definitely come up. And he was, for me, growing up in the 90s, he was the face of the Cubs with Sammy Sosa. Like, that's who I knew. And then, when they added Greg Maddux, that another face got added to that. But, for a kid growing up in the 90s, not born in the 90s, growing up in the 90s, he was definitely the face of the franchise for that position for sure.
Won the Gold Glove from 1983 to 1991. That is an insane run of just being a exceptional second baseman.
He was good, man. I don't recall the flash, and that would be why he wouldn't be with like the Ozzies and all these other flashier guys. But I don't know many flashy second basemen. I think Robinson Cano tried, and they ran him out the league, basically.
Pretty much. Where he ended up in Seattle, and I think things went poorly for him.
Altuve's got a little flash to him, maybe. I don't know.
Does he got flash, or is he just 5'2"?
Yeah, right. That's a good question. I don't recall a lot of flashy second base. They're usually just the ones that just they put their head down and work.
Yeah, Sandberg knew how to turn a double play. Like in an exceptionally smooth and unflashy way. He was going to get the ball, turn, throw, get out of the way of the slide. And boom, bam, thank you. That's two.
And in an era where it was okay to make contact and just put the ball in play.
He was put to test. Yeah, he was tested a bit.
I'm not gonna lie. That's probably the only, we talk about our gatekeepers in Major League Baseball. I will always fight for the technical hitting. I miss it. It really irks me. Like Josh Bell. That's a great example I'll use. Josh Bell had a month where he was trying to do launch angle swings. Like, for what? Looked terrible. I think his batting average got under 200 at one point. And then he goes, you know what? I'll get back to the basics. And then they're talking about him being a trade piece. Oh my God. You actually put the bat on the ball and you just want to put it in play and it worked?
Man, this is your get off my lawn.
Yeah, seriously. It irks me, man. Hitting is the one thing that hasn't changed since the inception of the sport. Why is everybody trying to do something different? Just put the bat on the ball, man.
That was my thing when they hated the shift and they're like, we can't hit now. It's taking down our average. Why don't you get back to the basics and learn how to put the ball where there aren't defenders?
One of the greatest hitters of all time was a lefty. Never had a problem with a shift.
Like if when what was his name? Joey Gallo. Right?
God,
they would do the extreme shift where there'd be no one on the left side of the field. If I'm Joey Gallo, you know what I'm doing? I'm learning how to bunt down that side. And I'm just going to push my bunts down the left side of the field where there is no one. And yet he kept trying to swing away and he would keep hitting into the shift. And then baseball fans and baseball media and baseball players were like, we need to ban this. This is bad for the game.
Yeah. One of the best hitters during my my Braves fandom in the 2000s happened to be a lefty. His name was Freddie Freeman. I think people remember him. Never really had a problem with a shift either.
Just learn how to hit. Just be better.
Like Bryce Harper figured it out.
It's like the tush push. If you can't stop it, don't try to ban it.
Yeah.
Why are we banning this shit? Be better. Learn how to avoid it. You know it's coming. You know they're going to shift on you.
Every time.
Just hit the ball somewhere else. You're being paid.
You're a professional hitter, right? Yeah.
You're being paid. Like Juan Soto. Learn how to not hit into the dang shift, my guy. You're making $750 million.
I think that's what they paid you for, to avoid that.
And yet they got off easy where they're just like, we're going to make life easier for the offense. Granted, I get it. It's hard to be a hitter. The pitchers are throwing 100 miles an hour at you with insane break and insane everything. And it's hard to put it in play. But that is why you are being paid boku bucks.
That's why you make the big bucks.
This is kind of, I'm also there with you. Bring back the shift. Bring back
technical hitting.
Bring back some of that stuff. There are some things in baseball that I'm very much for changing and very much for moving forward. I'm a big fan of the automatic ball strike system. I'm a big fan of robot umpires. I'm a big fan of stuff like that. But there are other things. I'm a big fan of the ghost runner on second in extra innings in regular season. I'm okay with all of that. But just sometimes the MLB is like, why aren't people watching the game? Well, it's because the ball is in play for 14 total seconds during a 9-inning baseball game. I don't care about that. Let's see the ball in action more. Let's see some defense running around. Let's do that, and then we can change the game that way. And maybe also at the same time, we can institute the ABS system. We can institute some robot umpires. We can do some more challenges. We can have some more checks and balances on our umpires who sometimes negatively impact the game. All right, coming up in hour 2, we'll be joined Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the driver of the number 47 Chevrolet. Will stop by in studio at around 9:30 a.m. So keep it locked right here on 106.1 ESPN and Fitz the Bill.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
When you first saw her, she was out walking her dog. You didn't notice her at first. But when you finally did, it was too late. Because at that moment, you were speeding. She was out walking her dog and only had a second to let go of the leash. Your foot was on the gas, and her life was on the line. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
After this hypnosis, I want to eat good food.
Since August, I can honestly say I have not had one potato chip.
It was life-changing for me.
And I don't think about dessert like I used to. Bridget, how much have you lost now? I have lost a total of 83 pounds.
Holy cow.
It's easy, it's fun, very relaxing, and very successful. And I would just say go for it.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed early bird special $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Seminars Thursday, August 21st at the Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glen Allen. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, August 23rd, Hilton Garden Inn, Colonial Heights. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 30 minutes before or sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Your home for the Atlanta Braves. Catch every pitch and homer on W291CL Lakeside Richmond and WURB HD2 Richmond. Braves baseball lives on 106.1 ESPN. You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 106.1 ESPN.
Welcome in hour 2, Fitz the Bill on this Tuesday, July 29th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Alan here as well on this Tuesday morning. right here on 106.1 ESPN, the ESPN Richmond app, and ESPNRichmond.com. You can also watch the stream live on Twitter and YouTube. If you want to watch, just type in ESPN Richmond in the search bar on either Twitter or YouTube. We'll pop right on up and you can watch the stream live. You can be part of the stream that way by commenting right over there, or you can call or text in 804-327-0888. And we want to let you guys know before we dive too far into hour number 2 that ESPN Richmond and Fitz the Bill proud to be a sponsor of the Virginia Council of CEOs Fall Leaders Conference, September 25th. You can get tickets at the link in our Instagram bio at Fitz the Bill ESPN RVA. Use code FITZ at checkout. It's an awesome event open to business owners, executives, and all of their teams on September 25th. We talked with Ross Bernstein a couple of weeks ago. He'll be the keynote speaker, best-selling author of over 40 books. An awesome, awesome event on September 25th. Get your tickets now. Link in our Instagram bio at Fitz the Bill ESPN RVA. Also, we've got the DeLoreans, a fantastic Ultimate 80s tribute band, coming to town at Riverside Vines Saturday, August 9th, presented by Chesapeake Bank. Gates open at 3 p.m. for the event. It's an outdoor concert at Riverside Vines where you can enjoy local wine, beer, delicious food from a selection of local food vendors. Kick back with friends and rock out to the sounds of the 80s with the DeLoreans, the Ultimate 80s tribute band. Get your tickets now, DeLoreans, riversidevines.eventbrite.com. That's DeLoreans, riversidevines.eventbrite.com. August 9th, gates open at 3. We'll see you guys there. All right. We missed it in hour number 1. We were rolling along with the fantastic calls, fantastic Terry McLaurin conversation, which we will dive into more tomorrow when Lake Lewis joins us. But that meant we missed out. We missed out on news or snooze. So, folks, it's time. 3 headlines or storylines from around the world of sports. We'll share if they're newsworthy or if they're snooze-worthy. Take it away.
News or snooze.
All right. Sources have said that Phillies Bryce Harper cussed out Rob Manfred in a meeting. This is newsworthy.
Yes?
You think? Yes, 100%. This means, look, I'm going to play a sound bite.
What's newsworthy is if people actually talk to Manfred in a nice manner.
You mean the only thing that Manfred ever hears is the F-bomb?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Nobody's happy with it. Maybe, and I'm only doing this because I know Bob's our super fan here. He might be the only baseball fan I know that speaks somewhat kindly of him, and that's probably him being professional. Like, nobody likes Manfred.
He did call the World Series trophy a hunk of metal.
Nobody likes this guy.
You're right. However, a player cussing out a sitting commissioner while they're in the midst of beginning contract negotiations for a new CBA that expires in just over a year.
One of us.
Look, this is what Jeff Passan has to say. I've got this clip. Jeff Passan was talking about the reports that Bryce Harper cussed out Rob Manfred in a meeting. Manfred is going around to all 30 MLB teams to chat about, I guess, the upcoming CBA and the things that they're doing. What Bryce Harper said was, get the bleep out of our clubhouse. So he said, get the bleep out of our clubhouse.
So he can go to 29 other teams because he's not welcome with one of them. I'm not mad at him at all, honestly. I mean, there's a more professional way to do it.
I'm not mad at him either, but it's newsworthy because this is what Jeff Passan had to say.
So what does this say about the state of the game that a player can basically walk up to the commissioner, curse him out, especially with a new collective bargaining agreement coming up, I want to say, end of 2026?
Yeah, December 1st, 2026. And I think on one hand, Rob Manfred didn't stand there and take it. He shot right back at Bryce Harper and said, I will be in this clubhouse and we will have this conversation. And frankly, these are the difficult conversations that need to be happening in order for labor peace to continue. We all remember the 1994 strike. Canceled the World Series. It was a problem, and there is fear throughout Major League Baseball, both on the player side and at the league, that it is going to go down the same path. Now, Rob Manfred has not said he is going to lock out the players upon the expiration of that collective bargaining agreement. But at the same time, there's the expectation that that's going to happen unless things really change drastically between now and then, particularly if MLB owners insist on a salary cap.
And I think we all remember what happened in that last player strike, how that just really hurt the game of baseball.
So, I mean, it is something because Passan is also kind of painting this in a positive light. But
because he works for the league,
yeah, kind of. Adam Schefter works for the players, and you can tell it with how Adam Schefter reports what his sources are saying. He's always in a glowing light for the play. Passan gets more of his sources from the MLB side, but this is newsworthy for the fact that it is maybe one of the most influential players in MLB. Being this outspoken on it all doesn't seem to bode well for where things are going. If he is that angry about a salary cap even being discussed, that shows me it is a complete and utter non-starter where players won't even come to the table if MLB owners are saying we should institute a salary cap. Not even doing it, but just floating that idea gets that much of a reaction out of them. And then at the end of the day, the salary cap, I talked about it with Ivan at the start of the show. Salary cap's not the solution in MLB. The salary cap is just being brought up so that the have-nots, and I'm putting have-nots in quotes, the have-nots are able to bring down the haves. But among owners, there are no real have-nots. They all are multi-billionaire owners who could field a much more competitive team if they really wanted to. But the White Sox, the Athletics, the Pirates, they're all content with having a team that just brings in enough players for them to turn a quick buck and never really put out a competitive team. It makes my blood boil, especially with the Pittsburgh Pirates, that you have a generational pitcher in Paul Skeens, a fun player in O'Neal Cruz, and yet you have done nothing to put the pieces around them for them to have success. And now you're trying to bring down the haves because they're quote unquote spending too much when there already is a competitive balance tax that it's punishing the Mets of the world and the Dodgers of the world and the Yankees of the world, because in 2022, there are surcharge thresholds and everything like that is making the Mets spend over $200 million in a tax over the last 3 seasons. And, oh, by the way, if the Mets are over the spending threshold again this season, their draft pick will get docked 10 places in the MLB draft. So there is something in place. There is a competitive balance tax, which is essentially acting as a very, very soft salary cap. And now they want to do something more. And this will never happen because the players will never give up earning potential down the line, especially if you're asking to take more from them. We are running towards a very contentious CBA CBA argument between the two sides.
Yeah, and you know, the importance here too, Bryce represents the old school and probably is influential to the new school players. So having him, like you said, react the way that he reacted, I would imagine his influence is pretty far reaching.
That's probably what all players are now feeling.
Yeah. You could make an argument he probably speaks for them. So yeah, it's not good for Manfred. But again, the fact that Passan was like, yeah, he fired right back. I guess so, because again, nobody likes the guy.
Yeah,
so
he's used to it.
I swear he is. I bet you if we took a vote amongst fans, there's probably a higher percentage of Major League Baseball fans that don't like Manfred than it is percentage-wise based on the fan base, NFL fans, and Roger Goodell.
Yeah, I don't think Roger Goodell's a bad commissioner by any means.
Yeah, but we still boo him every year.
Well, yeah, we boo him, but that's out of love.
And blame him for everything.
Yeah, but he's not hated like Manfred.
I don't think so.
Goodell did not call the Lombardi Trophy a hunk of metal. Like, that is still the most asinine thing to do as a commissioner.
He's your rep. All right, cool.
All right, number 2. With Matthew Stafford out, Jimmy Garoppolo is the man for the Rams. That was a headline from Pro Football Talk, and that is newsworthy.
Because wait, real quick, make a motion. We put in a laugh button because I think that's laugh worthy.
You think that's laugh worthy?
Yeah, right. Jimmy G. Jimmy can't throw the ball on time. Garoppolo in a system that requires you to get rid of the ball on time.
I love how when we have these headlines, you take something completely different from the headline than I do. Like my takeaway is this is horrible for the Rams Super Bowl chances because Stafford is hurt, and then yours is like Jimmy G sucks.
Yeah, man. I mean, seriously, we've seen this before.
He can't hit Emmanuel Sanders on a wide open down the middle pass to win the Super Bowl.
It was so open.
Which would you rather have, that or Super Bowl 49 where Russell Wilson threw an interception on the 1 yard line?
Oh man, I'd rather have what happened to us. I don't want the 1 yard line.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but I will say, Jimmy G's gonna look good for probably 3-4 weeks. He's gonna fool everybody and thinking like, oh man, look, McVay's the QB whisperer. He can't help this man throw on time.
So this is so worrying to me because Stafford is an old man who is just like, what, last offseason we were talking about if he would be forced to medically retire because he had like nerve damage in his throwing elbow. He bounced back from that and had a fantastic finish to the season, going 7-2. Wasn't ever in the MVP conversation, but if you extrapolated out his performance over the final 9 games,
I love it.
If he extrapolated out, he would have been in the MVP. He was fantastic over the final 9 games of the regular season. And then they were the only team in the playoffs that gave the Eagles a real scare.
Almost had them.
And now it's another season, and we've got another injury for Stafford. And the worrisome part of this is that Sean McVay sounds like he's mentally preparing himself for having Jimmy GQ be his starter. The quote from McVay on it all is, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a starting quarterback. Obviously, we feel so fortunate to have somebody like Matthew leading the way, but Jimmy's done a great job. I think he's shown good command the first couple of days. I've always thought he was a high caliber player. Sean, you are rationalizing so much, and that worries me a lot because that makes it sound like Stafford is not coming back.
You know what he should have said? I mean, it's fine that Stafford's out. I mean, one time I took a guy off the plane, fresh off the plane, and won a game with him on a Monday night. I think I'll be okay for a season. That's what he should have said. Go back to Baker, which he should hang his hat on for the rest of his life because nobody else could do that.
And last but certainly not least, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce have talked about the future a lot. A source says they're both all in. That was a People exclusive. That's newsworthy. The look you gave me.
I wanted to hit the snooze.
No, it's snoozeworthy. It's snooze. You can hit the snooze. That's so funny, though. Give me all the Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift stuff. I don't think the NFL is ready for Travis and Taylor to marry. I don't think they're ready for that.
Hey, I got the yearly Travis Kelce haircut update. So we're back at peak Travis Kelce. Taylor Swift.
He's the most popular player in NFL.
They don't have a name though. Like, you know how they used to like blend people's names like Radulina and things like that?
Trailer.
Oh,
that's
gosh,
probably not good.
That's not going to work. All right, man. You know what? Just go to commercial.
Let's get a break in here. We're going to go downstairs, get Ricky Stenhouse Jr. We'll be back with more Fitz the Bill right here on ESPN.
Catch up on the latest horse racing news with Off to the Races live broadcast 10 to 11 every Saturday morning on 106.1 ESPN. Presented by The Racing Biz.
At Target, back-to-school-a-days are here. What is back-to-school-a-days, you ask? We're talking 7 days of deals on looks and styles the kids will love, at prices you'll love even more. Because back-to-school at Target means getting all of the above. Through August 2nd, save 25% on select kids' clothes, with additional savings to round out their looks, including uniforms, leggings, polos, and activewear. Plus, their new favorite backpacks are 30% off. Happy back-to-school-a-days now through August 2nd, only at Target. Terms and conditions apply.
I thought I'd book a trip to Italy to celebrate retiring.
We didn't speak Italian.
We didn't then. We do now. Because of Babbel.
Babbel is the refreshingly easy-to-use app for learning a new language. Babbel uses immersive lessons to teach you vocabulary and grammar in a way that sticks. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
When you first saw her, she was out walking her dog. You didn't notice her at first. But when you finally did, it was too late. Because at that moment, you were speeding. She was out walking her dog and only had a second to let go of the leash. Your foot was on the gas, and her life was on the line. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water, but you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles, Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed early bird special, $49.99. Seminars Thursday, August 21st. Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glen Allen. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking 8 p.m. Or Saturday, August 23rd. Hilton Garden Inn, Colonial Heights. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop smoking 2 p.m.
When you first saw her, she was out walking her dog. You didn't notice her at first. But when you finally did, it was too late. Because at that moment, you were speeding. She was out walking her dog and only had a second to let go of the leash. Your foot was on the gas, and her life was on the line. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy gold. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Hi, this is Joe Simpson with the Atlanta Braves. Keep it locked here on 106.1 ESPN, your home for the Atlanta Braves all season long.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill rolling right along on this Tuesday, July 29th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Allen alongside. And Ricky Stenhouse, now driver of the number 47 Chevrolet, in studio with us here as gets ready for Iowa this weekend and down the road a little bit, right? You got Richmond.
Iowa this weekend. Yes, I had to think about what you just said there for a minute. I was like, wait, we're not coming to Richmond this weekend.
We still got a couple
Iowa
weeks.
this weekend, Richmond August 16th. So no, we're it's good to be in Richmond, and like you said, Iowa's coming up. Similar tracks as far as kind of shapes and sizes go. So we had a great run at Iowa last year, and had a strong showing for the most part at Richmond last year till I made a mistake there. So, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this weekend. But like I said, Richmond's coming up, and we got a couple chances to make the playoffs, and Richmond is one of them.
Yeah, you've got these last four races of the regular season, things kind of gearing up for you. What's the approach, the mental approach going into this kind of home stretch of the regular season? Yeah,
Iowa's a racetrack where, last year we ran fifth. We struggled qualifying, but once we got track position, we were really good. And, I feel like all these races really, no matter what racetrack we're at, if you're somewhere in the top 15 in speed, and then, you get a restart kind of late in the race and you can get some track position, I feel like anybody can win these races, eventually. The fastest cars still have the best opportunity. But I look at all the races we got coming up with Iowa, Richmond, Watkins Glen, Daytona. Obviously, I think Daytona's, essentially our best place to go out and win. Proven that we can win there, and we've done it before. But like I said, all these racetracks, man, if you're close in speed, you have a little strategy go your way. Cautions fall at the right time. Can really open the door for that.
I want to know with Richmond last year, they introduced that option tire, and it seemed to really switch some things up.
I forgot about that.
Look, I was watching in the stands, and I was like, is that Suarez just running his way through the field? I think Dylan too at one point.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I guess this is the fix we have for Richmond after a couple of years of passing was a struggle at times. From your perspective, with that option tire and stuff, are you thinking about that at all? Or is that all the crew chief just telling you, we're putting these tires on, go out and run hard? Or how is it in the driver's seat?
Yeah, it's more up to the teams. and we can suggest, we wanted to save, the best tires for later in the run or later in the race. And because we felt like the best time to use them was at the end when you were trying to get a good finish. But, looking back, some of those guys that were able to use them and get good stage points, those points are the same as what they pay out at the end. So, probably could have done things a little bit different there, but I forgot about that option tire. Richmond is a racetrack where a lot of us drivers love to go. You can run the bottom of the racetrack. It wears the tires out. You can run the top of the racetrack. And obviously if your car is working like you need it to, the bottom is the place to be, but you can search around a lot. And, we've had some really good runs at Richmond in the past and never won there. So it'd be nice to get a win.
What have you found to be, you said the bottom line, is that the best part of the track when you're hitting that and your car is able to stick to the bottom line? That's where you can get the best speed.
Yeah. And the best feeling, if you bury it down into the corner and turn one, and especially like in qualifying, if you get your left front down to the yellow line and all of a sudden it like starts turning, you're like super pumped. You go back to the gas and then, you're exiting turn 2. And as long as you don't get loose, the way the track kind of, you have good banking and all of a sudden it kind of falls away at the wall. And so if you can get through that end, you're really, really happy. And then, you're like, all right, just don't miss my marks down here in 3 and 4, but kind of the same thing down in 3 and 4, the track's really flat on entry and then all of a sudden the banking picks up. And if you can get that left front to that yellow line and all of a sudden it feels like your car just kind of takes a set, like if you're on a back country road and a sharp corner comes up that has some banking in it and your car kind of feels really good going through there. That's what it feels like when your car is working good. So if it's not doing that, then all of a sudden you start searching around and, you're running the top lane and kind of looking for, when we're moving around, we're looking for the cleanest part of the racetrack. So, if you're a fan in the stands and you're watching the racetrack's really dark from the rubber that's coming off of our tires, we're looking for the lightest asphalt you can get. And so, and that changes lap to lap. And so the lighter the asphalt, the less rubber and the more grip it has.
So when you're on the track, are you looking for the cleanest part of the track or clean air? Because you always hear people talk about
both.
Wanting clean.
Both.
That's the dream.
Yeah, both. That's the dream. And that's what it's like leading the race. And, so yeah, definitely both. It's not as critical at short tracks, with the clean air, but it is important. And so you'll see a lot of guys, like I said, your car's running good on the bottom. Guy in front of you is running the bottom. You might have to move your line a little bit around to get some clean air, like you said, instead of being right behind them. So yeah, we're looking for both.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. joining us, the driver of the number 47 Chevrolet on this Tuesday morning. Ricky, year one, kind of with your new team, kind of switched some things around in the offseason. What's it been like this year with Hayek? I tried to get that right. Hayek Motorsports, right?
You got it. Yeah, you're spot on. So, it's funny when people ask me because it doesn't feel like a new team to me. Obviously the name change and our kind of front office has changed, but the parts and pieces, the crew guys, our GM and Gordon Smith, the majority owner now, he's always been a part of the team since I've been there. And so, it doesn't really feel like a whole lot has changed for me other than, just new partners. And we got some great partners at Hayek that we've, been building over the 2025 season. And so it's cool to see that. We got NOS energy drink back on the car at Iowa this weekend. We had Rate on it at Indy, and then Fun Pops has done a lot. We've had Martin's and, just so many good sponsors that have really jumped on, Sunny D, Hungry Jack. So, we're just kind of adding to our, category of sponsors, and they've been a huge blessing to our team, getting us up and down the road. And so, the front office has changed, but, my crew guys are still the same. And so, still looking for that first Hayek win though. So we got a win at Talladega at the end of last season, which was, really strong momentum for us headed into the off season. Felt like really kind of pushed us through the off season. We started out this season strong, and then, really since Nashville, it's kind of been up and down. We've, had some good runs. I feel like we've executed well. Things just haven't fallen our way. Chicago, we're in the top 10, get crashed with 10 laps to go. Sonoma, we got good stage points, in the top 10 with 10 laps to go, 8 laps to go, and get crashed there too. So, things aren't working out, but I felt like we're putting ourselves in the right position. So, going to Iowa this weekend, coming back here to Richmond, we'll look to do the same.
Yeah, that recent stretch in the schedule seemed to be quite different than what it used to be, with Mexico City, going to Chicago, Sonoma, all kind of sprinkled in there. What's it like for you as a driver doing, road and street courses in a schedule that used to not have that many road and street courses?
Yeah, when I first started, it was 2.
Yeah.
And, I thought 2 was enough, but, I actually really enjoyed Chicago, the street course. So obviously looking forward to going to San Diego as well, seeing how all that plays out. But, I felt like the Chicago street course with, just standard roads made it tricky. It was rough. There was different areas that you could kind of change your setup to be good under braking or, cornering and I really enjoyed it. So, hopefully San Diego lives up to, at least how, the racing was at Chicago. I thought there was, great passing opportunities, when your car was good, or if, you were brave enough to run it into the corner. And, so that was another thing is, you got walls on both sides. And so, but the schedule is wild. I literally have to, look at the schedule to figure out where I'm going. We used to have the same schedule for years and years and years, and you could kind of recite it and repeat it, and you knew exactly where you're going. Now I definitely have to look up where I'm going.
Yeah, these final 4 weeks, Iowa, Watkins Glen, Richmond, Daytona, I think it finishes out. And those are different. Iowa, Richmond, similar tracks. Watkins Glen, that's its own,
totally different,
its own thing. Daytona is a crapshoot each and every time you go there. No idea what's going to happen.
Yep.
Finishing out the regular season with 4 tracks that are like that. Do you like it? Do you not? How do you approach that?
Yeah, you even go back even further than that. You got Indy, which is, its own animal. Dover, which is nothing like any of those racetracks. And then, we had our road courses back to back with Sonoma and Chicago, the street course. So, I think NASCAR's done a really good job of mixing the schedule up and, really not really throwing the teams for a loop, but, there definitely are teams and cars and that are stronger at other racetracks than others. And, right now it's a mix of everything. So, we got to run the race. We got to run these races at some point. So I don't really think the order matters that much. Obviously ending at Daytona is kind of wild. You never know exactly, if you're the last one in on points, you're probably the most most nervous person in that race. Everybody else, we see it. If we haven't won, we see it as an opportunity to take a spot. And like I said, if you're locked in on points and into that last position, you're nervous until that checkered flag comes out. So, I think for everybody but that person, Daytona is wild. And I still think we should do Daytona July 4th, but that's just my opinion.
That is a quite popular date that people like to talk about with the Daytona race. So, and I'm right there with you. It feels I remember watching the NASCAR show on Netflix, and I think it was following Bubba going into that Daytona race. He was the last one in on points, and he was just like, I'm more nervous. And the documentary did a good job where it's just like, no clue what's happening. Like, we're just going to cross our fingers and race a race, and hopefully it goes well.
That's all you can do, right? Especially if you're in that position. I mean, you go and try and get as many points as you can, unless, if you're in and you got plenty of points from the guy behind you, then you're kind of riding around so that you're there at the end of the race to try and go win the race, right? So, with this format, there's so many different ways, to lock yourselves in. But once you kind of see where all the points are, there's so many different ways to race. There's times where, we look at getting stage points, versus setting ourselves up for the end of the race. We would, like Sonoma, we finished 4th and 5th in the first 2 stages. And it's like, all right, if we finish 15th, it's like we've won the race points wise. Mm-hmm. So, we set ourselves up for that. We knew that we probably weren't going to beat SVG at Sonoma. So we're like, let's get as many points as we can. And, taking those stage points and then trying to get back inside the top 15 was what we had planned. And we did that. But it's wild how many different strategies there are, with the stages, the way the wind puts you straight in the playoffs. And then you got Daytona and its own animal as the last race.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. joining us, driver of the number 47 Chevrolet. You mentioned SVG. He's had a pretty good run, I would say, on these street and road courses. I know he's a competitor of yours on Sundays, but do you ever pick his brain? Does he ever share his knowledge of how he has the success that he's had? I know it's the rally car past experience, but
those V8 supercars and stuff that he's done, I think it just comes natural to him. I feel like sometimes you can see what he does, as far as with the brakes and the steerings and, the way he races a road course, he's fast and he doesn't wear out his tires. And so he's just super, super smooth. I got to, joke around with him at Indy, and after practice, we were walking down, getting ready to qualify. He's like, holy cow, this place is fast. Because you're going down the front straightaway and just gets so narrow. And then he, ripped off a lap there in qualifying. So he's a quick learner, and he lives around the corner from me. I'm trying to help him get donkeys actually right now as we speak. He's got a nice little piece of property out by us, and so it's cool to have him as somewhat of a neighbor, but definitely a competitor.
Donkeys.
He wanted donkeys. I think he's got goats already, and my wife has accumulated 5 donkeys that we have, and so we're helping him get a couple. I'm not sure his girlfriend is super thrilled or fiance is super thrilled about that, but it's just part of helping your neighbor out.
You have 5 donkeys yourself?
We got 5, and then we got 13 Longhorns and a Highland cow and 2 dogs.
That is, you get a couple cats in there. I think you could open up a farm.
Yeah,
or open up a petting zoo.
Yeah, we definitely don't need any cats.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., driver of the number 47 Chevrolet, joining us. I did want to kind of touch on Daytona real quick because you won the 2023 Daytona 500, and with that, just kind of walk us through the emotions, because that's the pinnacle of the sport. Some say compare it to the Super Bowl, that type of thing, but it just so happens that it's week 1 of the season. Winning that in week 1 of the season, what's the feelings like as you then go through the rest of the season with a playoff spot locked up and you have the Daytona 500 trophy sitting in your trophy case?
Yeah, for us, it really, just kicked us off on the right foot. Like you said, start of the season, biggest race of the year. Man, I woke up that morning and just felt like we were going to win. I wouldn't say I've ever had that feeling before, but I don't know. I just, that was the feeling I had. So it was cool to get it done, be able to share that with my wife and my family and all our friends that were there, and great win for our team, single car team. It was just huge. And I felt like we carried that momentum straight into the regular season. I mean, we averaged a 14th place finish, I think, throughout the regular season that year. And would have made it on points if we needed to, which was cool. And yeah, that was something that I was almost, us as a team was almost more proud of that, being able to have those solid finishes, be where we were in points when the regular season ended. So we were really thrilled about that. And yeah, just, man, nothing better than to kick off your season with a win at the Daytona 500.
And as we look ahead, August 16th, Richmond, that race near the end of the regular season, just want to know kind of your favorite part of a Richmond race weekend.
Richmond race weekend, being a Saturday night race, I'm thrilled about. Selfishly, I get to be home on Sunday, go to church, hang out with the family. But I would say, also being a Saturday night race, get to go golf Saturday morning, another positive. And being in August, it can be hot out. So the fans, obviously get, a nighttime race. And I think about, some of those races back in the day, like when Kyle Busch and Junior got into it, night race. I feel like the lights bring out, that short track Saturday night feel, which is huge around the Virginia area, especially the Richmond area, and places that like Denny grew up racing and all around this area, a lot of short track racing. So it's cool to get back to the short track roots of Saturday night short track racing. And you got the trucks on Friday night at 7:30. You got the modifieds on Thursday. So it's just a great race weekend to be a part of. And like I said, there's also some selfish reasons that I like Saturday night races.
As a fan, I love Saturday night races. Gives me a ton of time to tailgate and enjoy burgers, brews, everything like that. Ricky, last question here before we let you go. I do want to know your favorite NASCAR movie. Like
Days of Thunder.
Thank you. All right. That's
Six Pack is really high up
okay.
there.
Why do we not have more NASCAR movies? Like NFL, football gets it. Baseball has 5,000 movies.
They do. Baseball movies are good.
Yeah, they're really Bull Durham,
Baseball
Field of
movies
Dreams
are really good. I don't know. Obviously Days of Thunder, just speaking to that one, man, that took a lot of effort for them to do. I mean, similar to, what they just did with the F1 movie. A lot of effort goes into that. I mean, back in the day, those cars had to qualify for the races, and run with massive cameras on them. Now that stuff would be a little bit more streamlined, but it would be cool to do one, as long as you're not trying to remake a Days of Thunder, because like it's hard to remake a movie
that's so great.
And make it just as good. So you got to come up with something new.
Exactly. Ricky, thank you so much for taking some time out of your Tuesday morning. Good luck this weekend at Iowa. Good luck in the next couple of weeks at Richmond. Excited to see what you guys do down there.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course, there goes Ricky Stenhouse Jr. We'll be right back with more Fitz the Bill on this Tuesday morning.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed early bird special $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. Late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Seminars Thursday, August 21st at the Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glen Allen. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, August 23rd, Hilton Garden Inn, Colonial Heights. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 30 minutes before or sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Oh, I love this scene.
Yeah, man. I bet we could pull off a street race like this.
Dude, totally.
Hey, this is just a movie, right?
Whoa, what?
You try this in real life, you could kill someone or even yourself.
Life's not like the movies. Avoid a life-changing consequence and slow down, because this is one disaster you can't outrun. Speeding catches up with you. A message presented by NHTSA.
Back to school is on the brain. That means new notebooks, pencils, new everything. And while the kids are getting ready to get book smart, it's time for you to save smart with Straight Talk Wireless. Switch now and get a free Moto G 2025 with 5G when you activate select plans. Now that's a smart call. Get Straight Talk covered by Verizon's 5G network. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Offer valid through 10/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Purchase of gold unlimited plan or higher required for offer. Must activate the plan in store at Walmart. Cannot be combined with other offers.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day and nothing worked until Mark Patrick hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food, crazy, enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars early bird special, only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. Seminars Thursday, August 21st, Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons in Glen Allen. Weight loss seminar 5:30. Stop smoking seminar at 8. Or Saturday, August 23rd, Hilton Garden Inn, Colonial Heights. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. MarkPatrickSeminars.com.
When you first saw her, she was out walking her dog. You didn't notice her at first. But when you finally did, it was too late. Because at that moment, you were speeding. She was out walking her dog and only had a second to let go of the leash. Your foot was on the gas, and her life was on the line. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Hey, Richmond, looking for more Fitz the Bill content and behind-the-scenes looks into the show? Well, follow us on Instagram at Fitz the Bill ESPN RBA. You'll get all of the clips, exclusive hot takes, and so much more. Follow us at Fitz the Bill ESPN RBA on Instagram.
Do you watch Netflix, Alan?
Occasionally, when I have time.
There's a new show on Netflix called Making the Band, and it takes the premise of Love Is Blind and American Idol and puts it together, and it's very good. And in the season finale, one of the bands sings that song.
Did anybody run that by Did anybody run that by MTV?
Did MTV do that?
Making the Band?
Oh, do they have their own Making the Band?
Oh man, this is the age gap thing again.
They must not have had it trademarked.
Yeah, they obviously didn't, but Making the Band was infamous with Diddy, actually. That was his thing.
Sorry, it's not Making the Band, it's Building the Band.
Okay, there we go. Because I was about to be like, ain't no way, man.
Sorry,
they didn't trademark
Building
that.
the Band. It took Love Is Blind concept and American Idol concept and put them into one.
Okay, all right.
I do have to say, thank you so much, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., for coming by, driver the number 47 Chevrolet for Hayek Motorsports. One, he had the right answer when it came to the best NASCAR movie. And what he said off air was absolutely hilarious. The fact that he has not seen Cars is very impressive. Very impressive. Although I have a feeling that will be changing.
I'm a little jealous about that.
You don't
again because I was
Cars
traumatized.
Is a great movie though.
No, Cars is awesome. I've actually seen all of them.
They've got Daryl Waltrip in it. They got boogity.
Oh my god!
What? That's what they say.
I know it's funny that you
boogity. You know, coming up this Saturday, it's the Braves game at Bristol.
I know, and I was going to go, but the Panthers stuff is more enticing, so I decided to go there.
Ooh.
That's a lot of driving.
Also, Bristol, like shockingly far because it's like over there in Virginia.
It's like in the furthest western corner of Virginia.
Yeah.
I could have probably made it work, but it wasn't worth it.
No.
Not at us being like 18
If
games
you guys
under
were World
500.
Series, like still in World Series position, then maybe. But it did bring me to this question. I think if this goes well, this is going to be the best non-traditional spot for a sporting event. I think baseball in a NASCAR stadium is better than NHL in a football stadium, better than NHL in a baseball stadium, better than NFL in MLB stadiums for bowl games, and better than that one NCAA men's basketball game that was played on an aircraft carrier a few years
I
back.
hated that one. Now, are we counting the Field of Dreams as non-traditional?
You answer that for me.
I would say.
Would you say that that is non-traditional?
I would say it's non-traditional, and I don't think any baseball game there would be trumped by NASCAR or any other place. I just feel like because of the movie and how iconic it was, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
But
that is okay. So then, Field of Dreams, if we're considering that non-traditional, is number one. I think this has the potential to be like number two.
Now it looks really cool. If you look at the aerial shot, it looks really cool.
I was hoping they weren't going to put up like a field, and they were going to like use the dimensions of Bristol for the outfield wall, so that like it would be the Polo Grounds where dead center's like 500 feet away and right field is like 220. I was hoping it was just gonna have like the most absurd dimension.
I don't think anybody would want to play on that.
But they made it like a real dimension.
What you just described was Yankee Stadium. We don't
all
need
right,
that.
all right.
Just saying.
I'm sorry that they create a team that helps that helps them in their own stadium.
So ridiculous.
I was high on Yankee. What was I saying yesterday about the Yankees? And I was like, I got to get this in now while Allen's not here.
Oh, you're right, because I'm definitely going to say something.
It was about Aaron Judge, how he went to the IL for 10 days. And I was like, the Yankees now are like in legitimate danger of falling below the wild card cut line.
Oh, no, that's true.
Like I blinked and now they're 5.5 games back behind the Blue Jays in the AL East. And they're like 1.5 games up on the wild card.
And for some reason, I feel like, I don't know why I missed that in the news cycle. I feel like I was out like the 24 hours that it was hot. But that's a serious injury. Like he
flexor strain, 10-day IL. He won't be able to return to the outfield until swelling goes down. But
if they put him back in the outfield, they are tripping.
Well, yeah, Aaron Boone said on record where it was just like, this is what leads to UCL tears.
Yes.
And so they're being ultra careful, unlike what the Pacers did, that we've now learned calf strains lead to Achilles tears.
I never would have thought that given the history of, how many people come back from calf strains early.
Maybe I'm crazy, but I really don't think Tyrese should have played in game 7.
He shouldn't have. But again, you can't keep him out. Like, it's a hard decision to make.
It's danged if you do, danged if you don't.
This isn't a hard decision at all.
Let him DH and find a new right fielder for the next 3 months.
Sorry, Giancarlo. I guess you lost your job.
Put him in right field.
He can't play outfield anymore.
Right. What happened to him? He became slower than
he got a lot of like soft tissue injuries.
Oh yeah.
and it just made him like stiff, man. He can't move it well enough in the outfield.
Maybe they can re-sign DJ LeMahieu after he cleared waivers, put him out in right field.
Back.
Good. I don't even know who you put. I don't even know who's it. With the Yankees, they're so funny because they really just went from World Series favorites. They were in contention with the best record in baseball, and now they're going through what they go through every year, which is the dog days of summer just aren't kind to them. And then boom, bam, they're nearly out of the playoffs.
Yeah. So Spencer Jones is basically Aaron Judge light. He's 6'7", 240, and he's depending on who you ask, he's their top 3 prospect in AAA. I mean, it's not crazy. Call him up, put him in right field. Boom. It's problem solved. Because I mean, he's left-handed Aaron Judge. He's 6'7", 240, bats left, throws left. Right field sounds perfect for him. I would say give him a shot and see what you got. Also, and I'm not this is an original take. I heard this discussed I think on ESPN National, but it does remind you of the time where I think A-Rod got hurt. And then they made the transition to Aaron Judge. Like they called him up and then they moved in a different direction with him as part of their youth movement. It's not necessarily to push Aaron Judge out the way, but if you got a guy like Spencer Jones in your farm system, maybe it is time to consider a shift into lightening Aaron Judge's like role a little bit, because you need that bat. You got to have that bat.
He's more important as a bat than he is as a fielder.
Absolutely.
So maybe we put Giancarlo Stanton, maybe we trade him in the next 24. Now he's still worthwhile enough. You keep him for a bit, but maybe you start moving some things around, and Giancarlo might not have a spot on this team in 2026.
Yeah, it's tough because you're not moving Goldie for first base. And the guy like Giancarlo, you would wish he could play first base, but obviously he can't. So I don't know.
He's literally a DH or nothing. And now Judge is DHing.
Maybe we can get 2 DHs now.
Salary cap and 2 DHs.
Oh my god,
that's what the players want, right?
Manfred would do it if he could. Like, let's just bat 10.
Manfred would make the World Series trophy wood, so he wouldn't have to say it's another hunk of metal.
That's so goofy.
But this Saturday, 85,000 tickets have been sold. It's going to be the most attended MLB regular season or MLB game ever. 85,000. The last great Coliseum at Bristol.
That is, again, it looks totally awesome. And it is unfortunate that I really can't fit it in my schedule, because I really would go if I could.
It's the closest the Braves will be playing unless they play the Nationals.
I mean, I can always just go to Atlanta and see him. Or
go to Atlanta?
Yeah, that's not a problem. But man, could you imagine? I was at training camp on Monday, and I'm driving to Bristol on this weekend. Then I turn around, I'm going to Charlotte on Monday. Like, I'm human. I can't do all that.
I was like, yeah. Look, our cars can only handle so much.
Cars and my sleep schedule, which is already messed up as it is. So
yeah, Godspeed to you, man. I was in Charlotte for 3 days, and I was like, I'm good. I came up. I did go to New Kent. And went to Colonial Downs on Saturday, but I was just like, I'm good.
Yeah, that was that weekend. I did the ACC tournament.
Yeah, didn't you do ACC tournament?
Yep.
A10 basketball
and the Virginia Derby
and
all
the
in the same
Derby
weekend. So in three days, and this is not a humble brag. This is actually
it's a call for help.
Myself. Yeah, 8. I think it's almost 800 miles. If you factor in up and down, back and forth, it's close to it.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Virginia Derby was fun. I hit on one bet this weekend at Colonial Downs.
I'm proud of you.
It was a win or place bet for a long shot, and the long shot placed, and I won $20. And I lost the rest of my bets.
So I've got I'm doing the interview with Caitlin Free this week. I'll be filling in for Matt live from the track from 3 to 4. And the goal is when I join Bob for the mashup from 4 to 5, and he's going to stay on from 5 to 6, that I will place a wager on each race.
Caitlin, she was giving out some winners.
Oh, I bet,
Saturday.
man. She when she gets rolling, she's really good, man. She's really good.
I think she nailed the first 4 races of the day with the winners. Then got a little rough. She loved her Kentucky horses a little bit too much.
There's probably some bias. I'm going to ask her about that too.
she loves her Kentucky horses, but she was nailing some winners.
I actually have a West Coast bias in speed races.
I have anti-international bias.
Oh, international is okay if it's on the turf a lot of times. But like for dirt, you got to be South American.
There was a
for me.
Uruguayan horse.
Was it a dirt race though?
I forget what.
Okay.
It was the favorite though.
Uh-huh.
It didn't hit the board.
The travel affects the horses.
That's
like
what I was
people.
saying.
It really does though, and it messes up their schedule and training. In fact, I know we're going a little left here, but just a little nerd thing about me.
Nerd sets.
The Japanese horses,
yeah,
for the longest time would come over to Kentucky Derby. They struggled, and then if everybody remembers, 2 years ago, Forever Young, they switched up the schedule, got him here early, and he got acclimated to the training regimen here. Yeah. And he went from, I think he was in Santa Anita first, so it went from like the West Coast race, and then he came over to the Kentucky Derby.
That's smart.
And he won, but he didn't win.
That was the one that you
lost
a bet on.
Yeah, that was the one that, the other jockey grabbed my horse and for some reason didn't get DQ'd. I don't understand it, but it's cool. I'm not mad.
Oh, we had a texter. Y'all are making my husband's wish to see the Reds at Bristol sound tempting.
Hey,
look, if you
can
ability
go, yes,
to go,
if you can go.
Because I don't know if they've signed a multi-year agreement for this. So
I don't think so either.
I think this might be a one-off thing, and we've never seen it. We may never see it again. If you can make your way out to Bristol for this Saturday's game, I think Bristol seats like 100,000, and so I don't think it's a sellout, which is insane considering they have sold 85,000.
Listen,
tickets.
Texter, if I could get away with it, man, between my wife, my mom, and everybody else that cares about me, I would definitely get fussed at if I did that drive.
It's
Bristol, North Carolina. What?
It's the best This is going to be the best non-traditional sporting spot for an event to be played. Field of Dreams, notwithstanding.
Yes,
this puts the aircraft carriers to shame. I remember the aircraft carrier game where Tom Izzo was complaining about the wind, and I was like, never have I ever heard a men's basketball head coach complain about it being too windy during a game.
I remember the aircraft carrier game thinking to myself, how is this not an underplay? Who would even consider?
I remember watching it and going, how does the ball not end up in the water more often? Bricks.
That was just an awful idea. An awful idea.
I think that was only a 1 year thing too, right? It was
think
Michigan
so.
State. I don't even forget. I just remember it was Tom Izzo and Michigan State, and it did not go well. And they have not done it since. I'm also not a fan of, and I know this might be sacrilegious considering NFL and MLB used to play in the same stadiums. The Oakland Raiders did it up until just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, well, I feel like you're treading some thin ice here. Don't you insult Candlestick Park. Don't insult Candlestick Park. It means a lot to me.
It means a lot. Yeah, because that was the last time they won a Super Bowl.
It's the only time you might find Raiders and Niner fans
coexisting.
Yes, don't insult Candlestick Park.
All right, well then I'll insult this. I hate the Pinstripes Bowl when it's played at Yankee Stadium, or the Fenway Bowl when it's played at Fenway Park, and like the outfield wall is 4 inches away from the end of the end zone.
Yeah, so if
that's what I don't like.
Since we only have about a minute left, I think take your baseball in the NASCAR stadium. That's cool. But also cool is when they do the boxing outside.
That's also cool.
Yeah.
They also played a football game in Bristol, which was also cool.
Oh, I didn't see
Tennessee football played there a couple of years ago.
I didn't see that.
So that was a good one too. Put anything in Bristol. Put a NASCAR race in Bristol. I think it'd be fun.
I've heard it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I've heard that it's pretty. That's a track. Martinsville and Bristol are the next tracks I want to go to. And Talladega. That's my list.
See, now that I've had the NASCAR experience, I want to drive at these tracks.
I was going to bring up the NASCAR experience when Ricky was like, you really want to, if you have a car that can stick to the bottom of the racetrack,
right.
I wanted to be like, yeah, Alan, how'd that go for you?
Hey, I'm glad you did. Don't embarrass me in front of company, all right?
Don't embarrass you in front of a NASCAR driver.
Yeah,
I was going to be like, yo, Alan actually drove one of those cars. Ask him how fast he got.
And Trey's probably like, yeah, we got the video. Ugh.
As he's hiding behind the door. Trey, awesome communications guy with NASCAR, helped set that one up. Lori Warren, trying to get her on the phone another time before the August race as well. We're trying to work something out too for the NASCAR race. We won't announce it until it's 100% finalized, but we'll have something fun going down on that Friday before the race, before that August 16th. So keep your eyes peeled for what we got going on August 15th. And then we've got Lake Lewis tomorrow. Commanders Insider, NFL Insider. He'll be joining us in studio.
We want answers.
We're gonna make him give every single one of his opinions, thoughts, insights. He's an insider. He's got to come with the inside information on what's happening with Terry McLaurin. Is he gonna get 30+ million? Is he gonna get less than 30 million? Who knows? But Lake Lewis, he does know and he'll be joining us live in studio tomorrow. You do not want to miss it. I need all the inside information. Matt Joseph will be back live and local 3 p.m. with Border to Border. Until then, it's ESPN National and Clinton Friends coming up next. Fitz the Bill.
Your exclusive home for the NBA all season long. Flipside action on W291 CL Lakeside Richmond and